Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for another round of the best of branded content. We're doing some lightning rounds, courtesy of our friends from Social News Desk who have generously sponsored this amazing lightning round session that we're doing on branded content. So today, we are pleased to be joined by two experts in the field. So we are here with Alan Blackburn, Director of Local Sales for KSL Television, and we're here with John Accarino, Executive Director for Bonneville Salt Lake Business Development. Hello, both of you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, Julia, thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys being here. You know, we're highlighting all the folks that are doing amazing things in the branded content space, and you guys are doing some incredible work in branded content. So let's start there. So tell us a little bit about your branded content strategy, where you've been, where you're going, and really what you're doing now.
Great question, Julia. We approach branded content with focusing on creating great content that you would want to watch anyways. No one wakes up in the morning and says, wow, I want to go watch some sponsored or branded content. So when we create branded content, we have quality in mind. And so even though a lot of the times the sales division is producing a lot of this branded content, we try our best to, well, number one, achieve the client's goals and the messaging they're trying to communicate, but number two, have a valuable piece of content that's going to be able to stand on its own, even if it didn't have a sponsorship attached to it. Does that make sense?
Exactly. The content that we're trying to run is something that's obviously going to be appealing to a mass audience and something that can be used on multiple platforms and not just one category or one linear area. We want things that'll air on news and OTT, streaming, all these kind of different areas. So we try to look at the big picture of it.
That's such good advice for everybody to hear. And we wanted to point out a specific project you guys have been working on, and this was an award-winning project. We actually have Ninja Cat sponsored some awards on best branded content. You guys were one of the winners for an incredible segment you guys are doing called Learn to Ski with Max and Andy. Give us a little background on this project and really how this all came to be.
Sure. It actually started off with just a casual conversation our general manager, Tanya Vea, had with one of our employees, Andy Phillips. Andy he was a former college football player for the University of Utah Utes and also an Olympic skier. And so he was telling Tanya about how he was teaching his kids to ski. And all of a sudden a light bulb went off in her head and she thought this would be a fantastic series that we could attach a sponsorship to. And then Alan and his team were able to successfully secure those sponsorships.
Yeah, the beauty of this sponsorship was it was something that we wanted to do and that we took out. So it wasn't necessarily a client came to us, but we thought, how can we, one, make some money on this and do what we do, but how can we provide content to the consumer that's going to be beneficial not just 1 year, but multiple years. So we partnered with a local ski resort, Brighton ski area, as well as the Rocky Mountain Chevy dealers and the Ski Utah Association, who all paid for these segments. And we went up to Brighton in the Chevy truck and shot, I believe it was 7 or 8 episodes of Andy teaching Max and his other son how to ski. And they were all from beginning levels to kind of intermediate. But we tied the content into, the product into the content. So we talked about Brighton, we talked about the Ski Association, and we also drove up and started the interviews in front of a Chevy truck. But what was great about this is that we turned it into not only an OTT product that anybody could get anywhere, but because Andy was an employee of ours, an Olympian, and we're an Olympic station, we carry the Olympics every 2 years. This was something that news was very passionate about. So we had Andy actually come on the news once a week and talk about this week's episode. So you have this big megaphone of TV that was getting the message out there, directing people where to go to consume the product.
And the content is so good. I mean, if you have children and you've ever tried to teach them how to ski, you know how difficult that can be. Just getting to the mountain and what snacks to prepare and just getting the kid dressed up in winter gear and the equipment is such a hassle. And the way he was able to walk through the whole process of even just getting to the mountain, what to do the first couple trips, and then how to eventually teach your kid how to actually ski on their own. Great content. This is something that you would want to watch if you have kids and we're trying to teach them how to ski. And the sponsorship integration is so clean and natural. Like Alan mentioned, Chevy was one of the sponsors. And when we're doing the stand-ups for each episode, they're in the parking lot of the ski resort in front of a Chevy vehicle that we've been using in the episodes. So it's not a heavy sponsorship that is like being pounded on top of your head. It's just a very natural integration.
It's awesome. It's such a great initiative. And you mentioned a couple things that are so important here. It's got to all be about the content. So explain a little bit more. You mentioned OTT and social, and there was a broadcast element to it as far as a tease. And if I recall too, that the Ford dealers were actually running this in their own showrooms, right?
Yeah, it's actually with the Chevy dealers. So Chevy, the Rocky Mountain Chevy dealers, all the dealers were playing this on their TVs in the waiting rooms. So while people were having their car serviced, occasionally these things would pop up. So it wasn't like on all the time, but they would pick and choose when they wanted to run these things because it's good advertising for them. So yeah, it was something that they wanted to use, and they used it in their social media as well.
Awesome.
We had a multi-platform promotion strategy as well as distribution strategy. Alan talked about how Andy would go on TV to talk about the series. We also promoted it on a variety of platforms. And then as far as distribution, there was native articles attached to this series. So you can go on a website and read it and watch the video, or you can go into our mobile apps, our connected TV apps, OTT. The series was pretty much anywhere you wanted to consume it.
So awesome. It's such a great initiative, and it's pretty, it's just such great content, and it's so important that we think about this as something that is not just beneficial for the advertisers, but beneficial for the viewers and the users. But it's beneficial for the staff too. Alan, I know that you and I talked at one point, and you talked about how important it was that the reps really are passionate about these projects. And that kind of just breathes into the, interesting and educational nature of all this content. Talk a little bit about that, about how important it is that everybody's got a passion for this kind of subject matter.
Yeah, I mean, I've been selling advertising for 30 years and spots and dots kind of stuff. And this is what makes sales more exciting. It's not just thinking of one thing to do. It's how can I spread this out and give variety to a campaign so that you can guarantee success from the advertising campaign. So that's crucial. Most of my sales reps all love the outdoors. They're passionate about the Olympics. They're passionate about skiing and hiking and different things like that. So getting them excited is crucial. Just beyond the Learn to Ski program, we've also gone down other roads of cooking segments. So, I've stolen a few ideas from the Food Network about how to cook things. And so we've done little segments with various restaurants on how to make certain items that they make in their restaurants. We put that on social media and on our OTT as well as our web. So different things like that. It doesn't have to just be about the outdoors. It can be about back to school. It can be about, refurnishing your home and things like that. So taking a bigger look than just a 30-second ad.
Love that. I love it. And you guys, it sounds like you are definitely going to see a future in this, and definitely in a cross-platform way, through COVID and through all the interesting things we've all been through. How do you see branded content fitting into your future strategy looking into next year?
Let me speak first, John, and then you can jump in. But for me, it's not about one-offs, right? This is something that we need to continue to do. It's what clients are looking for. Anybody can run an ad anymore. There's millions of ways of running advertising out there, but what's going to be long tail for them? What can they keep using day after day, year after year on their own platforms? And the biggest thing is, and I've gone to quite a few seminars where the biggest frustration TV, radio stations are having with all this is the cost of producing some of this, right? And so we try to keep everything internal. We already are hiring people to do production for us, to do news for us, all these kind of things. So we have all the resources already available to produce this content where we don't have to go to outside sources. And if we do, then the clients are helping us pay for that with their sponsorship. So first of all, you got to go to your own resources to get this done without accruing a bunch of additional costs. Otherwise, it's not worth it to do it if it's just going to the bill's just going to rack up.
And we have such talented people on staff. I mean, we have Emmy award-winning graphic designers, videographers. We even have a FAA certified drone pilot on staff who can fly higher than most other drone pilots and even go into airspace when needed. So we're very fortunate to have a very talented team and creating high quality production. When Alan was talking about his team being excited about selling something, it's not just the subject matter, but it's also the quality of the product that you're taking out to advertisers, and you can be confident in both the quality and the content.
It's such a great way too to really position yourself in a unique way. You know, it's something that not everybody in town can offer. You know, you guys have certain skill sets, certain talent on staff. You can be able to really create a unique value proposition with this type of advertising plan for your clients.
Getting all departments to buy in on it too is crucial. Fortunately, like John mentioned, Tanya Vea, our general manager, she's former news director. She's been in sales, she gets it. And so she sees both sides of it, that all departments need to cooperate in this kind of product. And with that leadership, we can't fail. And so that has to happen with stations that want to do this, is you can't have these barriers between divisions and departments. They have to work together and understand the end goal here of being a successful company, but also driving success for your clients.
Fabulous advice. All right. And on that line of advice, if I was going to ask both of you guys, if somebody wanted to get started, you know, where do you start with something like this? This is certainly a larger project here, but there are ways to get started in a much simpler way. What would you recommend to somebody who was just getting their first steps into this type of advertising?
Well, video content is going to be more difficult and expensive to produce off the bat. If you're just starting off with branded content, you could start with maybe some series on your website where you can just attach some sponsorships to that. Or if you are a radio station, for example, you probably do a lot of audio production anyways. There's different ways that podcasts or other audio content, you can integrate the branded content into. But the video content is a little more higher price tag on getting started. I would start off slow, keep the content short. Don't try to produce 60-minute pieces of branded content. These episodes of Learn to Ski with Max and Andy, they're only a few minutes long. So they're digestible, they're easy to consume, and there's not going to be a heavy lift as far as a production standpoint.
Yeah, and I think going along with what John's saying, yeah, the Learn to Ski program and other things that we've done have high production value, right? But I don't think we have to overthink that. Things can be done on a GoPro. They, you know, if you have editing capabilities, you know, if you look at all the things on YouTube and social media, they're not highly produced elements and they're being consumed massively. So I think if we get beyond that, it has to be a high produced spot and keep them short, like John's talking about. It's content that people want and they're interested in it. So, and then you can do it very affordably. The
team that produced this, and we should highlight their names, Tim Johnson, videographer, editor, graphic designer, drone pilot, and then Jared Hardgrave, excellent TV video producer. Between the two of them, they shot and produced everything. So you don't need a massive team of like lighting people and sound people and makeup and all that stuff. It was really just a production team of 2 people and talent to put all this together.
Well, that's amazing to hear that, because I know that is something that there's always a misconception that you do need a team of 20 and to hire a full agency to pull these things off. And it's so good to hear that you guys are able to do this with people and staff and keep the margins low and the margins high for the TV station and be able to really create some great products for your advertisers. So, you know, just congratulations to both of you and to the full team. Such a great initiative and so glad you were able to share it with all of us today. So again, thank you to both of you.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Such an honor. This is my 2nd award from the LMA. So this is a huge honor. We really appreciate what you guys do for the community and broadcasters, local news people everywhere. So thank you so much.
Well, we appreciate you guys applying with such amazing work. We love highlighting all of you. So again, thanks again to you and the full team. Just appreciate all the things you guys are doing. Again, thank you to LMA, LMC, Facebook Journalism Project, and of course our sponsor from Social News Desk. So thank you guys, appreciate it, and keep up the good work and make sure you share it with us next time you do something amazing.
Will do. Thank you.